Coming up, a former minister sues government. Plus, armed robbers hold a business owner hostage. Meanwhile, water and sewage employees are on strike, and the PLP launches its election campaign.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight. More than 2 months after he was cleared of bribery charges, former Progressive Liberal Party MP Shane Gibson is suing the government for malicious prosecution and false imprisonment. This as former PLP Senator Frank Smith is eyeing similar legal action. Jasmine Brown has the details in this report.
The DuPage writ listed several defendants and outlined why Gibson is seeking damages for his arrest and failed prosecution. The writ revealed that Gibson's attorneys have filed a suit against the Attorney General, the Commissioner of Police, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Assistant Superintendent of Police Deborah Thompson, and contractor Jonathan Ash. It stated Gibson is seeking damages for false imprisonment on August 2, 2017 and August 3, 2017. Gibson is also seeking damages for malicious prosecution arising out of multiple charges of extortion, bribery, misconduct in public office, laid maliciously and without reasonable or probable cause, aggravated damages, exemplary damages, interest pursuant to Section 3 of the Civil Procedure Award of Interest Act 1992, costs, and further relief. The lawsuit comes months after Gibson was acquitted of 15 counts of bribery. The former PLP cabinet minister had been accused of receiving $280,000 from contractor Jonathan Ash in exchange for approving payments totaling $1 million for work done following cleanup efforts in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew in 2016. In addition to suing the government over his arrest and trial, the former PLP cabinet minister also personally penned official complaints to Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, the Bahamas Bar Association, and the chairman of the Police Service Commission on February 7, 2020. Against Thompson, Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson, DPP Garvin Gaskin, and Ash's attorney Alicia Bowe. In the letter to Minnis, Gibson noted that ASP Thompson testified that she held a joint meeting between Ash and government official Deborah Bastian in 2017 to iron out ambiguities in their witness statements. Gibson wrote, I write to formally commence the respective disciplinary proceedings against the Commissioner of Police and Assistant Superintendent Deborah Thompson pursuant to Articles 120 and 121 of the Constitution of the Bahamas and Section 50 of the Police Act 2009. During the trial, Thompson admitted to composing 3 statements on Ash's behalf in his absence following their initial meeting on June 27, 2017. Gibson also wrote letters to the Police Service Commission and Bahamas Bar Association making similar complaints against ASP Thompson, Commissioner Ferguson, and Ash's attorney. Meantime, our news team understands that Frank Smith's legal team has filed a writ, but it is yet to be served as his legal team is still awaiting a Privy Council decision on an appeal filed by the Attorney General's office. In early November, the Attorney General appealed Smith's acquittal on bribery and extortion charges before the Privy Council. In August 2019, the Court of Appeal unanimously refused to order that Smith be retried, as it dismissed an unsustainable appeal by the Crown. Our news team attempted to speak to Attorney General Carl Bethel and National Security Minister Marvin Dames on the matter outside Cabinet on Tuesday morning. However, both men declined to comment. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, 2 men disguised as window cleaners held a business owner and an employee hostage during an early morning armed robbery. Well, police responded and ended up in a shootout with the bandits.
Yo, check this out. They get some breaking in a place. Check this out.
This shocking video showing officers firing into the business made the rounds on social media just moments after the shots were fired. The brazen incident unfolding during the height of morning traffic. A young child looks on from the backseat of a car.
These 2 individuals walked into the compound here, pretending to be window cleaners.
Chief Superintendent Solomon Cash of the Central Detective Unit says it was around 8:15 when police got a 911 call alerting them to an armed robbery in progress at the FML Plaza on Carmichael Road. He says two men in white jumpsuits tricked workers at Portraits a la Sawyer into letting them into the business. Once inside, the men wreaked havoc.
They duct taped both persons and they gagged both the individuals.
Cash says once police responded, the men attempted to run from the building. However, when they confronted officers, Cash says they attempted to shoot at the police.
The officers, being concerned for their life, opened fire on both suspects, subsequently hitting one of them. As a result, the officers, once on the inside, there was a struggle between one of the suspects and the officers. One of the officers subsequently got injured during the arrest.
Cash wasn't sure what sort of injury that officer sustained. However, he says a firearm was recovered on the scene.
Both suspects were found in possession of a large sum of money that we suspect have been taken from the proprietor. These suspects are now in police custody. One is being treated at hospital for injuries.
This incident comes amid heightened concern over armed break-ins at homes and business establishments alike. Last week, bandits broke into the home of former Governor General Sir Arthur Folkes while he and his wife slept. Days before, a woman was raped during a home invasion in Coral Harbor. Many residents are worried about the apparent escalation when these crimes are carried out.
When you get to the point where you're going to terrorize the persons and want to rape them and stuff, it's sad because this trend now, what is going around, it's really ridiculous.
Yvette Holmes has lived near the plaza where this latest incident occurred for the past 50 years. She reckons a harsh response from the criminal justice system is warranted.
Just don't even know court case. Just lost them. That's the way I feel about it because it's sad.
Employees at the Water and Sewerage Corporation are on strike, according to Boosterwoo President Dwayne Woods. Approximately 75 staff members gathered under a tent across the road from the corporation today, some of them playing dominoes while others sang. Woods says in order to get the workers back on the job, these demands must be met.
Well, first on the agenda is the removal of Mr. Gibson. Our counter proposal for the industrial agreement, overtime and holiday pay for Abaco restoration, as well as overtime for all family islands at New Providence.
The union strike certificate, which it obtained last April, was in relation to unfamiliar or unusual methods of promotion. The union has also pointed to the corporation's failure to produce a counter-proposal for an industrial agreement and unpaid overtime from work done in Abaco as reasons for its decision to strike.
The union is requesting that the playing field be leveled by promoting a list of 96 persons who have not received a promotion in more than 10 to 22 years, thus filling the vacancies that exist within the hierarchical structure.
Woods was surrounded by several other union leaders as he addressed media. National Congress of Trade Unions President Bernard Evans also slammed Chairman Adrian Gibson, calling for his removal.
Obviously, the executive chairman is in over his head. He is rude, he is disrespectful, he lacks interpersonal skills, he lacks humanistic skills, and it's only time now, like the president asked, for the prime minister to move this chairman. So the people are not going to move. Are y'all going to move, or the chairman got to move? The chairman got to go. Are y'all going to move? The chairman got to go.
Minister of Labour Dion Folkes says he was surprised by the union's decision to take industrial action. Folkes added he has been in contact with both sides and hopes to have the matter resolved in short order.
We have been in contact with both sides. We hope to get it resolved. We hope to get the issues resolved. It's unfortunate that it resulted in a strike action because, as you know, water is an essential element for the survival of all of us. And it's very essential that the flow of water continues in New Providence and in the Family Islands.
Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis launched his election bid last night during a rally at Columbus Primary. According to Davis, the PLP is ready to take the next general election. Berthany McDermott reports.
Minister cannot wait any longer, so time for the bell to be rung.
Keep the FNM out.
Keep the ring the bell.
In his address to a crowd of supporters, PLP leader Philip Davis slammed the Minutes administration for what he termed their many failures. According to Davis, the PLP is on a mission to take the next general election.
Accompanied to the stage by a crowd of supporters, Davis asserted that the PLP is a repaired and unified party.
The SSPLP is off the reef. The hull is repaired. It is strong and seaworthy. We are on board to do the people's work. And it is all hands on deck with a singular mission. A united party ready to serve the Bahamian people.
In the 2017 general election, the PLP suffered a crushing defeat, with former Prime Minister Perry Christie losing his senatorial seat for the first time. At that time, many called the results a sign of the need for change in the party. At last night's rally, Davis said the PLP is a reinvigorated party.
We've been working hard these last few years, reforming and reinvigorating our party. As a result of our work, many outstanding Bahamians want to represent you in the next parliament. This new generation gives me great optimism about our future.
Davis blasted Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who declared at a recent town hall meeting that the F&M victory train is in motion.
Now that another guy told you, he told you, let's get on a train. But a train can't take you to the Family Islands. The train he's driving went off track so badly, it's now in the ditch. And that's not a joke. It's serious. Deadly serious. Because people are really hurting.
Davis also accused the Minnis administration of not caring about Bahamians. He slammed the 60% increase in value-added tax, the controversial post office deal, the decision to borrow nearly $600 million, and the increase in travel perks for cabinet ministers and their spouses.
They said they would reduce taxes. They came in and raised VAT. They said they would balance the budget, but instead they are borrowing millions from our future.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
The Department of Immigration is cracking down on illegal migrants as well as those who harbor them, according to Immigration Minister Ellsworth Johnson. George O'Bain reports.
Minister of Immigration Ellsworth Johnson confirming that the Department of Immigration has launched a joint law enforcement operation in Andros to conduct an island-wide sweep.
On this weekend, we had cause to put together a team of immigration officers, police officers, and defense force officers to go into Andros to do an island-wide sweep. Those type of operations will be ongoing, not just in Nassau, but in any of the islands. The concentration, I'm still concerned that we are apprehending persons who may not, some, because they're motivated by reasonable suspicion, who may not have arrived in the Bahamas in the proper way, and who we find haven't arrived in the Bahamas in the proper way. And we have not brought anybody into custody for harboring.
Johnson said his department will be cracking down on illegal immigrants as well as those who help to bring them into the country. He reminded offenders that they can face a $10,000 fine or 5 years in prison.
Anytime undocumented persons can find themselves in the Bahamas without the knowledge of the authority, it's a serious concern, because the undocumented person could, like as I said before, could very well be a terrorist, could very well be someone who may test positive for the coronavirus, may very well be a human trafficker or a hitman. And we have to know who's going and coming. And you must know who's in your country.
Johnson also revealed that the Department of Immigration has stopped issuing work permits to applicants from China until the all-clear is given from the World Health Organization on the coronavirus.
We are following the World Health Organization and PAHO. They, as the Prime Minister said, they're leading this effort. And so at this stage, we're not granting any work permit for anybody coming from the area. Just one could almost wreak havoc on this country. So it's best to be safe than sorry.
Johnson was also asked about the status of undocumented migrants still residing in hurricane shelters. According to Johnson, officials know who is documented and who isn't.
And so as those shelters are closing, we, in a humane, courteous, and legal way, we will extract those persons.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Georgie O'Bain.
Still to come on Our News, how much is government paying to keep recent travelers to China under quarantine? Plus, a security firm sees an increase in alarm purchases. Stay tuned.
Ladies, is your man always complaining about his Valentine's gifts? You're always giving him those boring things like socks, neckties, and cologne? Well, Rev wants to help you give your man the happiest Valentine's Day ever. Sign up for Rev Trio and enter to win one of 5 trips to an NBA game live. Upgrade your single or double play package to Trio and enjoy an NBA League Pass for free. Because when he's happy, you're happy. Call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us together.
13 Bahamians who recently returned to the Bahamas from China remain under quarantine, according to Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, who estimates that their precautionary measure has cost the government between $70,000 and $85,000 so far.
I sought to get a rough idea of what the total cost of this program has been. We think it's been between $75,000 and $85,000 so far. That's what the total process has been thus far, when you include accommodations, food, security, transportation, etc. Now, that does not include the cost of the personal protective equipment, which would have been a part of our emergency supplies anyway. We expect that number to rise, but as of today, a back of the napkin or back of the envelope estimate around $80,000.
Sands remains tight-lipped on where those persons are staying under the 14-day quarantine. However, he says he believes it is serving its purpose.
Some people are quite comfortable where they are. Some people wish that the accommodations were slightly different. But thus far, things have worked out quite well.
Amid reports of several house breakings, a local security firm says it has noticed an increase in homeowners looking to purchase home security systems. LaRon Williams, the owner of ProTech Security Services, says over the past few weeks, people have been making the investment in equipping their homes and businesses with alarm and camera systems.
We've noticed that because of the spike in increase in home invasions and burglary, a lot of people are now taking measures to now protect their homes and becoming more proactive.
This comes after an alleged home invasion and stabbing of a well-known local comedian, and days after former Governor General Arthur Folks' home was broken into while he and his wife slept. Williams says there are also scenarios where people are robbed leaving or walking towards their home. In that case, he says technology plays a big part.
One of the applications we would have implemented over our system was we have a panic feature that actually, when you press the panic signal, a friend or family, a loved one, our 24-hour monitoring station also gets that signal wherever you are, and it produces an emergency signal that we send out the necessary persons for the authorities. Whether it's fire, home invasion, whatever it may be.
When Our News comes back from the break, BPL phasing out Aggreko generators. Stay tuned.
Ladies, is your man always complaining about his Valentine's gifts? You're always giving him those boring things like socks, neckties, and cologne? Well, Rev wants to help you give your man the happiest Valentine's Day ever. Sign up for Rev Trio and enter to win one of 5 trips to an NBA game live. Upgrade your single or double play package to Trio and enjoy an NBA League Pass for free. Because when he's happy, you're happy. Call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back. A recent fire at Bahamas Power and Light's Blue Hill Power Station had no effect on power supply, according to Works Minister Desmond Bannister, who said it was a rental unit that is in the process of being phased out.
BPL has a number of rental units called Aggreko units that everybody is aware of. They've been very expensive, and BPL is in the process of getting rid of them as we get generation in. One of those units had a fire in it. It was contained. It had absolutely no effect on power generation in the Bahamas. No effect on any community at all in relation to power. And as I indicated previously, we're getting rid of those units. So they're being phased out.
Bannister said once the new stations at Clifton are completed, those rental generators are expected to be gone.
The new engines are in now. The seven new engines are in. Some of them are going to be phased out. And as we go with the next station, we'll get more phased out. These are things that happen fairly regularly at these kinds of sites when you have these little rental generation things. And so the best thing we can do is prepare, and BPL continue their normal maintenance checks.